Hey there! So today I wanted to talk about the various stages that our garden has gone through since 2020 and everything we're planning for the future. So here's our original garden, which consisted of 4 4x8 beds and 2 4x6 beds. This graphic's a little inaccurate. This was a sketch still, but very early, very early. Here is what we built that year. This was on planting day, so I had just commenced putting out a whole bunch of my seeds. Seed starts. Sorry, but I was doing a square foot planting this year. You can see the grids across the top of the boxes. But this is how we started. I had been growing in containers on my deck for several years, and I had kept a couple gardens before that at other times in my life, but nothing like this. Here's the only picture I could find of the garden with plants in it from afar. These are some beautiful cabbages that came up, some nice harvesting we did at some point. This was another beautiful corner of the garden. There's very young plants here. And this is what we thought we were going to do long term. So you can see the original garden there. And I had all these ideas for panels and arches, but this is what we actually wound up doing. And it went very, very well. I was very afraid to take this on. Again, you can see the original garden in the back. But we built a chill spot, and here's the map with all of the plants filled in. Okay, so here's the finished build. We're standing in the original garden. This was last year, 2021. And then all back here is everything we added. A lot of this was reclaimed pallet lumber, big pallets, the large ones. And this was the whole garden for last year, 2021. It was a great year. This is my beautiful fountain I made. The base is made out of dollar store pots and it's held together with E6000. And here's what we're looking at for 2022. We're actually breaking down the entire garden and moving the whole thing over 30 feet, all the way to the property line. And we're going to expand our arches, and we are going to focus down our crops more onto what we think we're going to eat and want to store. This is actually almost the exact same square footage as the other garden. The big thing we're doing is we're taking all the other beds and ripping them down long ways, and then we're going to add one piece of wood to close the hole on that fourth side. This is going to be a definite undertaking, but yep, we're moving the whole thing over, and we're going to have basically twice as many beds, but half as wide. So also, we're putting in the upper left-hand corner a 6x16 greenhouse, which is a huge deal. As well, I will be moving back into the rose hole, aka the cedar tree. Some of you may remember the rose hole from 2020, but I didn't use it last year, and I'm going to be moving back into the tree, so I'm very excited about that as well. So yeah, our main crops are going to be corn, potatoes. We're going to have 9 types of winter squash, 27 types of tomatoes, and then some little things. An herb bed. We're going to have Swiss chard, loofah gourd, carrots, horseradish, whole bunch of other stuff, and a zillion pots. All of those hashed areas are where pots are going to live. So this is our new plan, and we're very excited, and it's going to be a very eventful year. I can't wait for spring to finally hit, and for the fence of the old garden to unfreeze from the ground so I can pull up all that hardware cloth that's grown into the grass and start really knocking some stuff down. It's going to be quite the adventure. So thanks for joining me. And now, back to Kim. So there's going to be a lot happening. Overall, we're going to lose about 30 square feet out of the garden, but we're gaining that 16x6 greenhouse, so that's very exciting. We'll also have a much greater focus this year on growing what we want to eat as opposed to what's fun. I see a lot of stuff online, and it looks like it'll be fun to grow, and then it really doesn't wind up serving much of a purpose. So after sitting down and evaluating what it is exactly that we want to store, what we want to eat, we have a much different approach this year to our crops. So definitely less diversity, but absolutely I think we're going to get a lot closer to our self-sufficiency and preservation goals. So that's super exciting. So as you can see, we started with that 24 by 16 garden that was comprised of the one 8 by 16 bed, the two 4 by 8 beds, and two 4 by 6 beds. And then we graduated into adding those 4 5 by 10s and the 4 4 by 4s on top of that. And now we're going to take all of those beds and rip them down long ways and make them half as deep but the same length wide. So the new garden footprint is using all of the old beds, but there's essentially twice as many because they're half as deep. Most of our beds are going to be 2 to 2.5 feet deep and anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 feet wide. We're also very excited to have that greenhouse going in. That is going to be a major change. Very excited for that. So we're very excited to get started, and I think it's going to be a heck of a year.